keep my son's name out your motherfucking mouth, nigga. In my Will Smith voice. Stephen A. Smith has been in sports news the past days because LeBron James finally confronted him face to face over the constant criticism of his son Bronny James, even though it's all facts that he's saying. But LeBron finally got his chance at the Lakers game when Stephen A. was sitting courtside, and you can see he approaches him and is talking to him very aggressively and then walks off. Well, Stephen A. said what LeBron told him was to leave his effing son's name out his mouth. And we all thought it was strictly based off Bronny that LeBron pressed Stephen A. But a new video came out and the lip readers decoded it. And you can hear some of the audio when LeBron was joking with Richard Jefferson, and LeBron admits it was when Stephen A. said, as a parent, he's telling LeBron to stop the Bronny circus nonsense. Man, I highly doubt it was just as a parent part. It's the fact that Stephen A. has been on Bronny's neck about not being fit to play in the NBA and making this a circus show for the Lakers, and he said no lies about that. So as of now, Stephen A. has been going show to show, ranting and explaining his side after he got to go home and process everything, and calls LeBron weak for doing what he did. So we shall be paying attention to any future interactions they have now to see if there's any more smoke left. But LeBron ain't the only one to approach a sports reporter over something they said. Joel Embiid. Just several months ago, Embiid had lost his cool on a reporter, but it seems like it was more than just sports, or was he just reaching because they played bad? But back in November, after the 76ers lost to the Memphis Grizzlies, when he went to the locker room, he went off on a reporter and even touched him. Marcus Hayes had reported on Embiid and was questioning his professionalism and effort to stay in shape and be able to actually play on the court. And while discussing this, he referenced Joel Embiid's dead brother and Embiid's son, who is named after his brother, Arthur. And while I see his point in trying to call out Embiid for not showing up, he definitely did not have to use his dead brother and son as analogies. But in the article, Marcus says, Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as a major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. Embiid has been great at just the opposite. Now in his 11th season, he consistently has been poor in condition. This poor condition apparently seems to have delayed his debut this season, and Embiid won't play in Wednesday's opening or the next 2 games. So yeah, I see his point, but he could have referenced other basketball players. How about that, buddy? So Embiid was already feeling a way towards him. So after the loss of the Grizzlies, the same reporter has the nerve to be in the locker room ready to ask interview questions? Nah, Joel confronted Marcus Hayes saying, the next time you bring up my dead brother and my son again, you are gonna see what I'm gonna do to you, and I'm gonna live with the consequences. And when the reporter was saying sorry to him, Embiid said, that's not the effing first time. And while he was yelling at the reporter, he pushed him, and then team security and other people got in between them. Eventually, Embiid got suspended for 3 games for pushing the reporter. So what y'all think? Was he right for what he did because the reporter brought up his brother and son? Y'all let me know. Demarcus Cousins. Back in 2016 when he was playing for the Sacramento Kings, he had approached a reporter face to face, pointing in his face and yelling at him. Poor white dude, he looked shook as hell. Cousins had approached the reporter Andy Furlow after a game, and it was over a column he wrote and addressed the issue of Matt Barnes and Demarcus Cousins getting into an incident at a New York nightclub, and mentions that Matt Barnes and Cousins should find better places to hang out. The New York club incident alleges that Matt Barnes choked a woman and Cousins had punched her boyfriend, and the couple had filed a lawsuit against them, but they didn't get arrested. In the same article, the reporter mentions another incident where Demarcus Cousins got in trouble again, but this time he was with his brother and they got into a fight at a club where his brother ended up getting tased, but they said that the crew made sure to hurry up and get Cousins out of there for safety, but he was also involved in the beginning of the fight. So for this this one, the reporter didn't do anything wrong and just saying how their star player keeps getting into trouble outside of basketball. But you know how it is with these athletes, they sensitive over criticism. And then you add a little bit of razzle dazzle, shit, they can't handle it. And as you see in the clip, he's telling him not to mention his brother again.
Real f***ing issue. Don't ever mention my brother again. You don't know my f***ing brother. Okay, that's good. Come on. Coward. You say whatever the f*** you want to say about me, but don't mention my motherfucking family.
The team ended up fining him $50,000, so at least he was still able to play after. He just had to do a little bit of straightening. Kyrie Irving. He doesn't come off as an overly aggressive person, so this wasn't really a confrontation. More like confronting someone face to face to have a talk versus on the TV or radio. Around the time when Kyrie was refusing to take the vaccine and everybody was criticizing him for it, Stephen A was one of the loudest about it, calling him dumb. Why doesn't he just take the shot? He's setting a bad example. Stephen A had everything to say about the unvaccinated people around COVID time, telling Kyrie that is bigger than him, he should do it for his team. He was going in, so much to the point where other media analysts was defending Kyrie, saying Stephen A was taking it too far, just like how him and Jay Williams was going at it. But enough was enough, and Kyrie's dad started to message Stephen A, letting him know he's doing way too much. And as Stephen A says, Kyrie's dad was sending him very aggressive messages, which he didn't take lightly, and now him and Kyrie's dad were going at it. Finally, at a game, Kyrie saw Stephen A and approached him, and instead of a hostile confrontation, they had a conversation like men, which ultimately Stephen A later apologized to Kyrie, so at least they were able to handle it peacefully. But Kyrie still approached him as a man face to face, as Stephen A explains this on a Paul George podcast. So the lesson learned is, say what you mean and mean what you say, and be ready to face the consequences behind your words. Yes, a lot of the times these athletes are very sensitive and hate to hear truthful criticisms, but at the same time, these reporters do sometimes go overboard with it, knowing damn well you can't touch them, but one day someone's gonna be made an example out of. But as far as the criticism behind Bronny that Stephen A has been given to him, most of it has been fair. It's only when he spoke out of basketball and said as a parent, or so LeBron is saying. Who knows, but it is what it is. Anyways, tell me what y'all think in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. Hit that like button. I'ma catch you on the next one.